Well, this week, the Oklahoma County Jail Trust met for the first time since the release of a 15-page report from a multi-county grand jury that was highly critical of their performance. There are supporters with strong opinions on both sides of the issue, and those opinions were certainly voiced during Monday's meeting.
No one up here has the skill, the talent, or the education to run the jail, including you, Sheriff. Nothing personal.
The levels of acrimony at these monthly meetings of the Oklahoma County Jail Trust is undeniable.
Now, what are you all going to do? You suck at this. Bring in the professionals, for God's sake.
Sean Cummings is a successful longtime Oklahoma City restaurateur who's also a member of a group that calls itself the People's Council for Justice Reform. That group took aim at the 9-member jail trust shortly after they took over operation of the beleaguered 33-year-old Oklahoma County Jail in July of 2020.
There are ways for this to work, but first, you all have to admit you've been absolute and utter failures.
The jail has been plagued by an acceleration in jail deaths in recent years. 16 inmates died last year alone, and the jail is fraught with the proliferation of illegal drugs, including fentanyl.
John Adams said it best, facts are stubborn things. That's it. We must go with the facts, not with our superstition, not with our what our friends want or anything else. Look at the evidence, look at the math. It is clear more people die and have died under their leadership on average than under the sheriff's office. We need accountability, not a corporate structure running this.
A few weeks ago, a damning grand jury report revealed alarming findings after a 14-month investigation. It included proof that illegal gang members had been hired as guards in the jail. The grand jury also suggested the jail trust, which is composed of volunteers, should turn jail operations over to Oklahoma County Sheriff Tommy Johnson, who sits on the jail trust.
I want to do all I can for the jail trust. I want to pay not only these employees everything that they deserve, I want to pay my employees everything they deserve. But I just think being realistic, I don't know how we get there as a county.
Sheriff Johnson tells OETA he's willing to face all of his responsibilities, whatever they may be, but that his allegiance is with the majority in the jail trust. For decades, the Oklahoma County Jail was operated by the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office. It was also a period of time that included other state and federal investigations into the sheriff's operating of the facility. The underlying constant through all of this is that more than 3 decades ago, Oklahoma County built a substandard, underfunded 13-floor jail that critics say has failed the county at every turn.
We would argue that you all are moving in the right direction.
Tim Tardibono is executive director of the Oklahoma County Criminal Advisory Council. He's an attorney, and he's been monitoring the jail since it was built in 1990. He argued Monday the jail trust should stay in place and says he wasn't surprised at the recent grand jury's findings.
The grand jury process is supposed to be investigatory, and it's not like a courtroom where you get the defense puts on a side and the prosecution puts on a side. It's only looking at what are those items of investigation and what is the evidence to support that investigation.
People's Council members say what the grand jury recommends should be followed.
They clearly stated that the jail trust should be dissolved. And while the people sitting on the jail trust might believe that it doesn't apply to them and they're above the law, they're not.
We had a multi-county grand jury once again confirming that the conditions have actually deteriorated and escalated. These guys came in to make things better. Reality is, facts are things aren't better, but they continue to deflect.
One thing both sides in this dispute agree on is that Brandy Gardner, the woman the jail trust hired on an interim basis to run the jail last December, is doing a good job of restoring order. It's a daunting challenge, considering there's an everyday average of 1,528 jail detainees, and more than 1,100 report they lack a high school diploma or GED, and many deal with some sort of mental illness.
Ideally, I would like to get our staff up to at least starting wage of $45,000 a year.
The reality is starting guard pay at the jail is just over $37,000, and that may not change anytime soon. Gardner says she's making headway in eliminating unwanted staff members and the illegal drugs that have permeated this outdated facility for years. The good news, a new single-level Oklahoma County jail paid for by a $260 million bond that county voters approved last summer is expected to be completed in about 3 years, and it will include a mental health wing, something the present jail sorely lacks.
That's the important thing to look at. We have personnel in place that are making the right decisions, moving in the right direction. And as you've seen here before, today everyone is in agreement that Brandy Garner should continue to do what she's doing. So the ship is slowly moving and being pointed in the right direction. This isn't the time to abandon that and go back to what we know did not work.